Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I am going to be doing my June reading wrap-up a little bit different than I've done it in the past, because I think that when you finish a book, that is when you are most impacted by it, and that is when you just really feel overwhelming in one way or another. So I decided this time around, instead of sitting down with a pile of books and talking about them, I will give you my thoughts on the book as soon as I'm done with it. So right now I am just about a chapter away from finishing The Time Traveler's Wife. This is by Audrey Niffenegger. I struggle with it every time. But anyway, I'm about to finish it. I just stopped crying and I'm not even done with it yet. I'm not quite sure how it's going to end. The story has just been amazing, and I'm gonna finish it and tell you my thoughts on it. So I thought this would be a fun way to share my June reading wrap-up. It's kind of hard to talk about it now because I'm so emotional. So The Time Traveler's Wife is I would call it a tragic love story about a couple. The husband's name is Henry, and he is able to time travel, but the time travel is odd in the sense that he can be two different ages at the same time. So oftentimes he is able to visit himself at certain times of his life, which is really interesting. It's not the time traveling type of book that I am normally drawn to. I kind of like it when people just go way back in time and fall in love with somebody from that period, and it is the time in which they live in that keeps them apart when the person ends up going back to their current time. Like, those are the types of time travel love stories that I like. So this is very different from that. And Henry gets to know Claire throughout her life. So during his time travel, he is able to visit her. He actually begins to get to know her when she's very little. I want to say prior to being 10 years old. I think she's somewhere between maybe 5 and 8 years old when they first start meeting up with each other. And through his time travel, he ends up seeing her throughout many different times of her life. And eventually they do end up getting married, obviously, because it's called The Time Traveler's Wife, so I don't think that ruins anything. And it's about their story, and you're going to cry. So I was not looking for a book that was going to make me emotional right now. I'm trying to read things that are kind of light and happy, so I think I'm going to pick something a little bit lighter next time. The story's amazing. I mean, it's a great story. You will be totally captivated by it, but you will cry a lot. All right, so now I am going to start another book, and I will let you know what that is going to be, and then we will talk about that one when I'm done. Okay, so I have my next book lined up, but before I talk about it, I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit more about The Time Traveler's Wife, because I feel like I couldn't say very much because I was so emotional at the time, but I just wanted to give you a little bit more about the book so that you can decide for yourself if it's something that you would like to read. There were some heavy topics and the types of things that I really don't like to think about, and the things that were going on that were not pleasant kind of went on for longer than necessary. And it's not a book I don't think that I would reread, because it did not really put me in a happy place. It kind of made me feel sad. So I mean, it's definitely a great story and I would recommend anyone to read it, but it's just it's not a feel-good story. That's the bottom line. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I did like that the characters, Henry was a librarian and Claire was an artist, so their professions were very interesting, and they also referenced a lot of different books and a lot of different art, you know, pieces of art and paintings and things like that. And I was actually finding myself Googling some of these things to see exactly what it was that they were talking about. So if you're a book lover or somebody who just loves art, you probably would really enjoy all of the references made. Okay, so now I'm going to be reading Angela Thirkell's Wild Strawberries. And I chose this book for June because strawberries because strawberries are the fruit, I believe, of June. That's usually when we go strawberry picking. So I think it's very appropriate, and hopefully this is going to be a very light-hearted story, nothing too deep, no serious or disturbing topics, I'm hoping. And this is about Mary Preston, who has newly arrived as a guest of her Aunt Agnes at a magnificent wooded estate, and she falls head over heels for the handsome playboy David Leslie. Agnes and her mother, the eccentric matriarch Lady Emily, have hopes of a different, more suitable match for Mary. So this takes place, or this was published in the 1930s. It's a romance, and I'm looking forward to it, so I'll let you guys know what I think. Okay guys, so I just finished Wild Strawberries by Angela Thirkell. It was such just a light-hearted, feel-good book. It's exactly what I needed to read right now. I read it rather quickly. I probably could have gotten through it in just a weekend, but I had a lot of interruptions, so it took me a little bit longer than it should have to get through it, but it was really a sweet story. It's kind of comical. The beginning was slow. I almost didn't continue the book. I was probably on page 45 to 50 before I really started to get interested in it. So I did almost end up not reading this at all. But once the love story comes into play, it's kind of like, I guess, a little bit of like a love triangle. It's just really sweet and entertaining. And I thought it was a cute book. Definitely not something that's going to keep your interest enough that like you can't put it down or you can't wait to see what happens next. It's not that kind of a book, but it was just a sweet love story, and I thought it was a lot of fun to read right now. And I'm just going to read a couple. You can see I have little tabs here. There were a couple of paragraphs or sentences in this book that I wanted to share with you. Inheritance and death duties were not words which troubled Martin much. He knew Rushwater would be his someday, but he had the happy confidence of the young that their elders will live forever. His most pressing thoughts at the moment were about the possible purchase of a motor bicycle on his 17th birthday and his hopes that his mother would forget her plan of sending him to France for part of the summer holidays. I really liked that, and it's so true when you're young, how you just have no concept of time and the, I guess, importance of life. I mean, obviously that doesn't hold true for all, but just to be able to have that innocent mind would just be a lovely thing right now. And I really enjoyed that part of the book. I really enjoyed this too. Time devours everything, but each mortal believes that his own memory can enshrine immortality. He holds the dear image in his heart, but while he yet holds it, the laurels fade, the image is dimmed. I just thought that was really beautifully written, and I'm just going to share one more with you guys. And I just love it when the author speaks directly to the reader. And I appreciated that in Jane Eyre. There's a very famous quote in Jane Eyre where the author says, "Reader, she married him." And it's just like, it just takes you by surprise. So here, for the benefit of such readers are not interested in cricket, we shall not describe the game. Anyway, I just think it's so much fun when the author directly speaks to the reader, because like I said, it does take you by surprise and it kind of makes you giggle a little bit. And it's almost like you are being caught watching something or listening to something that you shouldn't be. That's like the vibe it gives me, because you're so captivated by the story, and then all of a sudden the author like kind of calls you out and they're like, "Okay, reader, I know you're probably not interested in the game of cricket, so we're just going to skip this part and carry on." So I just thought that was really funny. Angela Thirkell has another book called Christmas at High Rising, which I read 2 Christmases ago, and I very much enjoyed that too. Her stories are very just lighthearted, comical. They do not usually get too deep or too sentimental. So it's just, if you're looking for something that has that kind of vibe to it, this would be a really great selection for you. Okay, so now I need to pick my next book. I'm just about to have breakfast and I am going to be reading Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. This is a book that I have been reading for a while now, along with other books. So I was kind of reading this at bedtime and I am a good part of the way through it. Let's see how far I am. I am up to page 228, but as you know, the Harry Potter books just keep getting bigger and bigger. And this one I think is over 700 pages. Yes, it is. So I think instead of reading this along with other books, I am going to just finish it at this point. So this is going to be the next book that I hopefully complete, and I'm excited to get through all of the Harry Potter books this summer. Hopefully. We'll see. It seems rather daunting because they are so big. But so far I am really enjoying this book. I don't like it as much as I liked the first three though, so we'll see. I mean, I'm not even halfway through it, so we'll see how it plays out, but I love all of the Harry Potter stories. So it's June 25th. I have 5 days left to not only finish this, I have another book I was supposed to read for June. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle all of the Harry Potter books like I had originally planned. I think I'm gonna have to take a little bit of a break from this to get started in my other book, and then maybe read this into July, and then my other Harry Potter book I'll read from July into August, and then I'm gonna take a break because as much as I am thoroughly enjoying them, I still have, I think, like 300 pages to go. And I'll just show you how much I've read already, because it's just a lot. These are really big books. This book, The Goblet of Fire, basically Harry Potter and Hogwarts is having this, it's like a big competition amongst a few different wizarding and witchcraft schools. And the things that they need to do, it's kind of giving me like the Hunger Games vibe. If any of you guys are familiar with the Hunger Games, it reminds me of that a little bit, which is interesting. But also, this is really a coming of age book, and I enjoy seeing the characters maturing and going to dances and things like that. So that's been really fun. But I think I might have to take a break. Don't you love this paperweight? My mom gave this to me for my birthday, and it works perfectly, especially when I'm reading a really big book. I can hold it open and sit down and read. But anyway, I think I'm gonna finish this chapter and then I'm going to start reading my next June book. Okay, so I think I'm gonna take a little break from Harry Potter so I can finish my last June read, which is going to be the book that we chose for our Patreon book club. So I will show that to you guys tomorrow, because tonight we actually have plans. It's my dad's 71st birthday. So I'm going to be bringing cake and a pizza over to his house just to celebrate his birthday. And also, just to let you guys know, I have been rewatching all of the Harry Potter movies, and it's been such a great thing to do while I'm reading the books, because it's just reminding me about the very beginning, because we just watched, me and Madison are watching them together, and we watched the first two, and I think I stopped watching at the third or fourth movie, just like I stopped reading by the fourth book. So I like reading the book and then watching the movie. That's been a lot of fun. So we've been doing that while I'm reading the Harry Potter books. Anyway, that's gonna be it for now, and hopefully I will start my next book tomorrow. Good morning, guys. It is Saturday, June 27th. And like I said, I'm going to take a little break from Harry Potter. I have about
nearly 300 pages left in this book. And I'm going to move on to The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is a Book of the Month Club book that I got in my last shipment, and I'm really excited to get it started. So I have my tea here, and I am ready to dive into this book. I started reading this morning. So far, I am thoroughly enjoying it. This is such a great book, and I'm glad that we picked it out for our Patreon book club that we have going on, but it's a really good story. It's about a woman who is a journalist. She works for a magazine or a newspaper, and she is chosen by this very, very famous person named Evelyn Hugo, who is a Hollywood sensation, to write an article that she wanted to have posted. They're doing like this big fundraiser event, and Evelyn Hugo is auctioning all these beautiful evening gowns that she once wore at Grammys and things like that. And she selected this one journalist to write about her and the event and other things she wanted to share. And the journalist is just over the moon excited because she is an up-and-coming writer and not really well known yet in her industry. So it's a really, really big opportunity for her. But at the same time, it is such a mystery as to why Evelyn chose her. What the connection is, what the reasoning is, I do not know yet, but I'm excited to find out. And I think it's going to be a really, really great story. Just about to have lunch, and it's not even 24 hours later. I am already on page 92. This book is so good. I know I am going to read it super quick. I am really, really enjoying the storyline. Okay, so I have about 25 pages left to go, and this book has been so good. It's been one of those books where I can't stop thinking about it, and you know, it stays with you. When you're not reading it, you're thinking about the characters and what are they going to do next and what's going to happen next, and you know, building up to the end of the story now. You're just, all of these crazy things are happening, and I don't want to give away any of the storyline because the book is truly not what you are going to assume it is about. So there are so many different characters and so many different things that unfold throughout the book. You get to genuinely understand Evelyn. She is kind of ruthless in a way, one of those people who does what they need to do to make it big in Hollywood. But when you come to understand her as a person and why she does the things that she does throughout her life, you can understand like why she does what she does. And it's a great story. So I'm really anxious to see how it ends. I'm going to finish it now, and I'll let you guys know what I think. So I just finished The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. It was so nicely wrapped up, and like the ending was just really, really phenomenal. It started raining out as I came to the end of the book, and it just felt so somber and was very fitting for the part that I was reading. And I hope that you guys enjoy this vlog style reading wrap up. I thought it would be more fun this way, and in editing I realized it makes it more of an experience because every time I read a story, it really does become part of my life and part of what was happening in my life at the time, and I always connect the book with what I was doing or where I was at, if I was traveling, whatever the case may be. So it was kind of fun to bring you guys along for that piece of it. I just think it was really a great way to not only experience the story but be able to give you a real-time view of how I was feeling about the book. So I hope that that was fun for you guys too. I'm continuing to read Harry Potter, and I'm also listening to the Audible of The Goblet of Fire, so I am pretty certain I'm going to be done with that really soon as well. We are going into 4th of July weekend right now, so I need to pack up and get ready to go to the lake house because I've been so absorbed in this book today that I haven't packed or done anything yet. So that is where I'm headed now. But like I said, July is going to be focused on Harry Potter and Jane Austen, so I hope that you guys come back to see my vlog style reading wrap up of that as well. And I'll do it again next month if you did enjoy that style of vlogging while I read and shared the books with you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.
Cushion, and it flew across the room and landed in the box they were all supposed to be aiming at.